everyone. Welcome to today's podcast. The title of this book is Springer International Handbooks of Education, Handbook of Using Virtual Exchange Across Disciplines, Building Global Citizens from Home. It's edited by Dr. Kelly Tzoumis and published by Springer Nature. The anticipated print version of the book will be out in April 2026. I'm Jie Zhang. I'm a professor of special education at the State University of New York, Broadport in the United States. I serve as the section editor for accessibility and inclusion. Today, it is my great honor to introduce Dr. Nadera Alborno and Dr. Maria Ines Marino, and they join me in this episode to explore their chapter. The chapter's title is Virtual Exchange to Prepare Teachers as Advocates for Inclusion. Now, I would love to invite Marianne. Now, I would like to invite the two authors to introduce themselves, their titles, and universities. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dr. Nadira Alborno. I am the Dean of the Graduate School of Education and Professor of Education in the American University in Dubai. My research focuses on preparing teachers for inclusive classrooms and multicultural education.
Hello, my name is Dr. Maria Ines Marino. I am a teacher and professor for the School of Communication in Florida International University here in Florida, United States. And my research focuses on the intersection between intercultural communication and nonverbal communication, specifically focusing on underrepresented populations.
Thank you, Nadera and Maria, for introducing yourself. Would you like to share some background information on how you became partners?
That was a wonderful journey. So I have started a virtual exchange in 2021, and I had about 3 years of doing that, and it was quite successful. So I was started posting about it on my LinkedIn and my school LinkedIn. And luckily, those posts were picked up by my dear colleague, Dr. Maria, and she wrote to me, and she said, like, would you like to consider that we do a COIL experience between us, because we seem to have similar interests. I got very excited, and we started to talk, and it was very interesting because from the first meeting, we found that we have so much in common in terms of values, in terms of what we really care about, and it has been an amazing journey since then. So this is like 3 years ago, and of course, we come from two different disciplines. However, we managed to map and converge together into finding a real ground and interest to meet on. And we haven't met face to face yet, but I can tell you the friendship is very, very solid.
I feel the same. I was when I saw the LinkedIn post, the warmth of and the topic really caught my attention, and I can say that this call experience has only been amazing, and I gained a friend and somebody I can really connect with and talked about from the deep soul on what is important to me and my practice, and because we agree on how we looked at the world, how we would like to see the world advance, and we agree on our take on how we want to educate our students. So I have learned so much from Dr. Nadera as a person and as an academic. So I'm extremely grateful, and every time we have to do our COIL, it just brings so much happiness to me. It brings happiness, and I feel so encouraged and motivated to do it more and to do it better So I really thank her for this amazing opportunity.
Thank you. It's so lovely that and amazing that the two of you met and collaborated and bring benefits to the students as well. I look forward to hearing more. So, based on the chapter, what impact did virtual exchange have on the subject matter of your courses? Thank you.
Thank you. I'll start by telling that it starts from the connection, really, because from my side, I was speaking about teacher education and how to prepare teachers to have a better understanding, a better conceptualization of disability, and also how to move to become advocates for inclusion. It's not just learning about the subject, but to become advocates. The idea that Maria brought in from her expertise is the artistic expression, which is related to the media. The most important thing is to bring in the media so that you can actually become better advocates. So that was the connection, the first click, let's say, or connection there. From there, we realized that with virtual exchange, what happened is that we're not just adding an international layer to the course. It actually changed the nature of the subject matter itself. So inclusion and disability stopped being treated just like a technical topic or like sets of strategies, but instead it became a question of identity. It became a question of understanding responsibility and the effect of culture, the power, where the power is, and understanding all these concepts that get together with disability and this disability agenda around the world. So, through the sustained collaboration between teachers, between us as teachers, and between teachers and peers, we began really seeing that. Our teachers we were able to let them see that disability does not really fall inside the child, but it is actually shaped by the systems and the expectations and the social norms. And bringing VE there meant that it's not just the social norms of, for example, the UAE or the region, but the social norms in the US. And remember, in both classes, we have multicultural students. So it was not just UAE and US, it was just global. Because UAE is a very multicultural, students have very multicultural backgrounds. But bringing in the US and the Western experience using VE brought a lot of depth to the meaning. So the meaning of disability is not local anymore. The conceptualization of disability became global because of VE. And from a teacher education perspective, this meant we moved away from the toolkit approach of inclusion toward preparing teachers who can think critically, who can adapt across contexts, across cultures, and who can respond ethically to learning diversity, which is the main thing. This is how you can become then an advocate for inclusion.
In my case, my class is artistic expression in the global society, and the goal we had set up for our COIL was that the students become more aware of the context and of the other cultures in regards to how disability is portrayed and is communicated through art in society. And one of the main goals in the agenda of the class for me is that they are not just passive spectators what's going around them and without questioning it. So the big goal is to give the students the tools to be more aware of themselves and how they absorb that information they receive, to question that information they receive, and to be aware also of the other. And the only way to be aware of the other, it's being put in contact with others from different contexts and different cultures to be able to, because that contact with the other makes you question of your own stereotypes and societal frameworks and culture. So without VE, it would have been impossible to do something like that. Yes, the students can read articles in regards to how other cultures see that, but there is a deeper level of reflection and a deeper level of empathy that is built when you actually have to interact with students from different culture, listening to different perspectives and different perhaps ways of looking at your own culture in ways that are not the happiest ones. Um, and uh, that it's only through virtual exchange. And there is no other way I could have achieved that if it's not was through virtual exchange.
Wow, thank you. Such a rich experience you brought into the classes for your students through learning about themselves and learning about each other, learning about the world, the content, and also the society and justice. So wonderful. You kind of touched base on the next question, but I want to follow up with that. What would have been missed in teaching about your discipline if virtual exchanges were not included?
Yeah. I think we started talking about it because we're very excited, but I'll continue. The idea is that it would have been very contained and more limited, and the perspective would have been limited, and that's dangerous for disability, especially. That's dangerous because um, I will tell you an example about my teachers. They thought, for example, that the system, being a young country in the UAE, so our systems are young and everything is happening very fast. So for them, it was like getting in connection with the systems in the US. Although we read it in books, but when they hear the real human experience of students about how disability is spoken about, how disability is treated, because they were giving them real life experiences of people in the spaces in the US. This will not, you cannot get from books. You cannot even get it from videos. You can get an idea, but it's different when that's a relationship and you are building a relationship and understanding the feeling. And that was the work that us as professors, we were pushing all the time, that you need to create a relationship and try to create an enduring relationship that through that relationship, there's a lot of lessons learned, which cannot happen from books, which is conflict resolution, which is solving problems. Because there was a problem of time limit, time change, because we're like 12. I mean, look at us now. We're in three different continents, and it's not easy. So you imagine two classes, and they have to make the times to meet synchronously, to be able to exchange the real experiences. So that needed a lot of conflict resolution to be able to, and these are skills that teachers will need in the future to become the advocates for inclusion. And these were the discussions that we had with them. So when we met together or when we met separately, my teachers would come to me and say, well, they're younger than us, they're not understanding. And I said, well, okay, so what are you going to do about it? How are you going to solve these problems? And from Dr. Maria's side as well, the students were feeling sometimes maybe a little bit pushed by my pushy teachers, and but for the project to happen, but that alone is so important to build the strength of both sides, which was really, and the teachers actually talked about it a lot during the interviews. So that was one point that I wanted to highlight, on top, of course, of the global understanding, of the depth of understanding of really, it allowed them, more than anything else, is that people have preconceived ideas about, for example, people in the US, and then a lot of these assumptions were challenged because they started meeting people who are that's different. That's different from what
Mhm.
we see on TV, huh? From Hollywood. So it was good that VE. Without that, we would not have been able to really change the mindsets of our teachers about the culture and about the conceptualization of disability and about how they can become the agents. Because remember, they have to become the agents globally. Their output was all these media outlets. These media outlets are not just UAE. These media outlets are international. I think Dr. Maria can speak more about that from her perspective.
Yes, it's what was most important for me is that a virtual exchange can, through virtual exchange, the students can involve in that direct dialogue. And as Dr. Nadera said, that direct dialogue that exposes the students into the stereotypes and preconceptions of how society is developed and how society should be and what is disability and what disability should be. And I think the only way to do that is to really push students out of their comfort zones. And these intercultural dialogues is exactly, it's the pillar of the intercultural value, of the intercultural dialogues, are the pillar of pushing students into their out of their comfort zones, because then they really start examining and questioning everything they know and how they live, and that also fosters the empathy, and that also fosters inclusion, because it's like, oh well, I have a person in front of me. I'm not just reading about this person from this country and this context. It's really in front of me, and I can connect to this person at a personal level. So the personal narratives and the personal experiences that they are going through. For example, Dr. Nadera's students brought so many experiences about them being in the classroom with the students with disabilities, and examples of how challenging it was to sometimes speak to the parents and better the system and be able to themselves include the students into the everyday task. So when you are at one-to-one, person to person, there is no other way than having to listen and try to connect, and that it's pushing them out of their comfort zones or dialogues that are not used to here because they are out of their own culture. And I think that's the most significant value in regards to advancing disability and advancing society in bettering the issue of disability within education.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you. You emphasized the human connections and the real life experiences and the relationship building. Or everything you talked about is better prepare your students for not only a better professional, but also a better human being, I would say. So you have done such a wonderful job, and I wish I could be one of your students in your class and had the experience. Um, Thank you very much for bringing this virtual exchange integrated into your disciplines and to your classes and to your students. So thank you. With that, I think this is the end, and I want to thank both of you for your time and for sharing your experiences and expertise with our audience. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank you for the lovely experience, actually, of being part of this wonderful work and the support you gave us, because you gave us a lot of support along the way as well, which made it really a seamless experience. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, and I agree completely with Dr. Nadera, and thank you, because this motivates us to continue the journey and injects more happiness into what we are doing and what we believe on, it really makes a difference. So thank you very much.
I just want to end the conversation with one comment that one of my students said. She said, "Now I am ready to take the world."
I love it.
That's so powerful. Thank you for sharing. Thank you again, Dr. Nadera and Dr. Maria. I appreciate your time with us and your sharing your expertise and experiences. Really appreciate that. Thank you.